Before Odysseus began his voyage home, one oath set Troy on the road to war. That oath was sworn for Helen. In Greek myth, Helen was more than beautiful. Every powerful man in Greece wanted her hand. She was said to be the daughter of Zeus and Leda. Her marriage could never remain a private affair. It carried the weight of kingdoms. Kings came, princes came. Great lords came from every corner of Greece. Each man wanted Helen, and each understood what she represented. To marry her meant beauty, status, and the highest kind of Greek honor. The danger was obvious. There was only one Helen. Her foster father, Tyndareus, king of Sparta, saw it at once. Before him stood men who commanded armies. These suitors had not come with flowers and harmless compliments. They were rulers who could answer rejection with war. If Tyndareus chose one man, the others might turn against Sparta. One marriage could tear the Greek world apart. Then, as the old king stood trapped, Odysseus stepped forward. Odysseus was the prince of Ithaca. He was neither the richest man there, nor the strongest, but he understood people better than almost anyone in Greek myth. He knew he could not truly compete with the great lords for Helen. His eyes were set on another woman, Penelope, Helen's cousin. So Odysseus brought Tyndareus a bargain. He would solve the crisis. In return, Tyndareus would help him marry Penelope. The answer he proposed became known as the Oath of Tyndareus. Before Helen chose a husband, every suitor had to swear before the gods. Whoever Helen chose, the others, would accept the decision. No revenge, no feud, no war among themselves. And if anyone ever carried Helen away or violated the rights of her husband, the former suitors would unite. They would fight together and bring Helen back. Odysseus had found the pressure point. He turned jealousy into duty and rivalry into alliance. Sworn before the gods, no man could break it lightly. No one wanted to look dishonorable before all of Greece. So the suitors swore, and Helen chose Menelaus. Menelaus would later become king of Sparta. For a time, the danger seemed to have passed. The marriage was settled. The suitors accepted the result. Greece did not fall into civil war. Then Paris came to Sparta. Paris was a prince of Troy. Behind him stood the promise of Aphrodite. In the earlier story, Paris had chosen Aphrodite as the fairest goddess. In return, she promised him the most beautiful woman in the world. That woman was Helen. When Paris and Helen met, the attraction was immediate. Some versions say Paris abducted her. Other versions say Helen went willingly. In those versions, she ran away with him. That second version leaves the story more complicated. Helen may have loved Paris, or she may have been moved by Aphrodite. Either way, she left Sparta and went to Troy. For Menelaus, that created a serious problem. If Helen left of her own will, it was a private scandal, a broken marriage, a personal humiliation. That alone could not summon all Greece to war. So Menelaus told the story another way. He said Paris had stolen Helen. He cast her departure as an act of aggression. A lover's escape became something larger. An insult against Sparta. A breach of the oath. And everything shifted. The Oath of Tyndareus gave Greece a reason to unite against Troy. Whether Helen was taken or went by choice, the result was the same. The Greek world began to mobilize. Kings, warriors, fleets, and cities were drawn toward Troy. Helen had become the spark. Around her gathered honor, obligation, politics, and divine promise. The age of heroes was moving toward war, and now the great names began to appear. First came Agamemnon. He was king of Mycenae, an elder brother of Menelaus. He became commander of the Greek alliance. Among the Greek leaders, Agamemnon held the greatest authority. If all Greece was going to war, his command gave it a center. This would not be a raid. It would not be a border quarrel. It would be a war on a scale Greece had never seen. Odysseus had his own problem. The same man who created the oath now had to live under it. Odysseus had no desire to sail for Troy. Why risk his life over another man's wife? So he tried to escape with a trick, worthy of Odysseus himself. He pretended to be insane. He went into his fields and began plowing like a madman. He wrecked the furrows and scattered salt across the earth. Anyone watching might think he was unfit for war, but the Greeks were clever too. They placed his infant son in front of the oxen. If Odysseus kept plowing, he would prove he was mad. If he turned aside, he would expose the act. Odysseus saw the trap at once. His child was in the path. He turned the oxen away. and with that single movement, his act fell apart. Odysseus had no choice but to join the expedition. Achilles was different. His story carried a darker weight. A prophecy had given him two futures. If Achilles went to Troy, he would win eternal glory, but he would die young. If he stayed home, he would live a long life. But no one would remember his name. A long life without fame, or a short life that never fades. That choice lay at the heart of Achilles' tragedy. Glory was already calling to him, but his mother Thetis could not accept that fate. She knew Troy meant death for her son, so she tried to hide him. She disguised Achilles as a girl in the court of King Lycomedes. She dressed him in women's robes. She arranged his hair and placed him among the maidens. If no one recognized him, no one could drag him to war, but Odysseus was not easily fooled. He heard Achilles was hidden there and came looking for him. Disguised as a traveling merchant, he laid out his goods in the palace hall. Most of them were meant to tempt the young women. Clothes, jewels, perfumes, and fine fabrics. But in one quiet corner, he placed a sword and a shield. The princesses rushed toward the dresses and jewels. Achilles ignored them. His eyes went straight to the weapons. His hand moved toward the cold blade. Odysseus understood, but he still needed to be sure. So he set one final trap. Outside the palace, his men sounded a war trumpet. They beat their shields and shouted that enemies had arrived. The young women panicked and fled. Achilles' warrior instinct awoke at once. He seized the sword and shield and prepared to fight. With that, his identity was exposed. Achilles could no longer escape the war, so he joined the Greek alliance. And with him the road to Troy grew darker. His mother had tried to save him, but glory and destiny could not stay hidden forever. The oath has been sworn. Now the war can begin. If you want to follow the full road to Troy, subscribe and stay with the series. In the next chapter, Achilles and Agamemnon will tear the Greek army apart before the walls of Troy.